cry or die. I don't know what's happening in Ricard's. It's some crazy stuff going on. Okay, we're going to try this again. This is going to be super fun. For those of you who have joined us late, that is perfectly fine with us.
You're actually on time.
We've really joined ourselves late, seemingly. So yeah, you're actually on, like Roland said. Cool. Okay, so Atlas, you have been led out of the stadium by this guard down the stairwell and towards the opening through which you had come in previously, and you sitting outside. Um, Now you've been beckoned or summoned essentially to go and parents after them having learned that you're still in the city.
Nice. So I have the choice to either go with this person or not.
Right, or any interactions you want to make, etc.
So this was a guard that asked me this?
Yes.
Okay. Were they with the High Lady, or is this just some random?
This is just one of the guards that was at the stadium when you guys arrived.
Okay. All right. Might I insight check this guard?
Please. Absolutely.
Think that would be a good idea to do that. Been lied to a lot.
Okay, so as you're, kind of regarding the way that he's speaking, et cetera, looking at scales, movements someone would make to help you recognize any sort of deceit, if there was any. But in this case, as you're kind of taking this guard, he walks with purpose. He has sincerity and he carries himself as an honest person. You definitely don't get any kind of sensation of dishonesty from him or deceit from
him. Okay. I'll go with him then. Why not? Now, before I left though, I assume I'm already gone, or we're still kind of around them.
No, well, you're still kind of in the area, though Ricard, Roland, and Kidron have made their way in the opposite direction, essentially.
Do I know where they were going?
They had definitely mentioned to you. So Roland made known his intention to kind of follow Ricard's body where it was to be carried to, and Skodrick had decided to go with them, and then you saw Kidron in this almost not necessarily trance-like state, but definitely as if his mind is dwelling elsewhere, staring out into the skies. He's peering down into the field to this beam of light, this beam of sunlight shining down that you see.
Very well. Yeah, I guess I'll go with this guard. The only thing that I wanted to mention, like if I were gonna leave and nobody was like in a rush or anything, I was only gonna mention to remind Roland what I told him about back at the warehouse about asking somebody in my stead about some armor.
Okay.
So I was just gonna remind him about that and then leave. That was it.
Okay. Did you? If you told me that, what preference did you have in armor? Like I didn't know.
I told him before half plate.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay.
And so I think that was it for that. But I'll follow this guard now.
Cool. All right. All right. So Kidron, as you approach,
Ooh, that all cut out, bud.
I heard the whole thing. I really didn't.
So here's an idea. Maybe your bit rate is too high or too low on OBS for your stream.
Let's see.
Aha.
You can check it out.
Tonight was full of technical errors.
Right. Perhaps I don't know.
It's a poetic dance, isn't it?
What about now? Check 1, 2. Check 1,
We'll
2.
see
do
in
a
5
test, it
minutes because
sounds
it was
fine.
good for a little bit.
It happens after you.
Yeah, you're
It's like
you're
it's like
doing
it's
really
fucking
well.
with you, bro.
Bro,
Well,
you
we'll
know,
let you know
Seriously,
if it happens
I
again.
say, cheers.
Okay,
Yep.
okay,
we'll
very
let you
funny,
know if we
Mav.
have to hear it
Nice
again.
joke.
I like my joke was would you like to hear a joke?
No,
About construction?
I was joking about you pranking David. Okay,
Never
don't use that as an
Never
opening.
mind. I'm trying to. I'm still working on the joke, by the way.
Okay. Just don't let it be a horse
About
joke.
construction. Get it. Oh jeez.
oh man.
At least one a night.
I got like 3. I got like
Oh,
3
okay.
lined up. Come on, guys, I've been practicing. All right.
Okay.
No.
Stand up comedy, no D&D though.
Try this again.
Is it really stand up
Really
really all
crappy.
sitting down?
Come on, guys, all our viewers, they came for the D and D.
Double three-way? What?
They came for the D and
No
D.
one said that.
He said 2 Ds.
Yeah, they came for the D, the D and D.
The Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So not the
Okay.
Yeah.
not 32s.
Live stream this. Yeah.
All right. So Kidron, I feel like I have to talk really slowly, and it sucks so much. Sorry, everyone and anyone who is not going to watch our stream anymore.
Oh, come on.
Okay, so Kidron, as you're walking down the field and approaching this beam of light, you're beginning to feel this internal peace. This internal peace grow. This warmth inside of you kind of grow. A sense of purpose, a sense of drive, and a sense of like acceptance. Because like you say, your trek has been long. This has been something that you've been, kind of vying for a while, and so this feeling that you're getting is motivating. It's giving you some internal growth. So I just feel like it's going to happen. Anyway, so you approach this and you decide that you want to sit. And so you kind of sit, cross your legs and begin to pray. And as you fall into prayer, it's almost as if the light that's shining down on this one little sapling, this seedling that's sticking out, is beginning to envelop you, to engulf you. You feel the warmth kind of spread throughout your body, and you're, as you're praying, you have your eyes closed. Well, the blackness that you were seeing from having your eyes closed actually begins to fade as light kind of begins to shine in, and as you're kind of sitting there and you're praying, your vision begins to change a little. What you're seeing, the senses that you're experiencing, you begin to feel this almost sense of weightlessness, this sense of lightheartedness about you, and it's almost as if you leave the ground. You could still tell that you're sitting, but it's almost like you're having an out-of experience to an extent. And suddenly the walls and stands of the stadium are gone, and the field then begins to extend in all directions. And you see this just throughout this field or whatever. There are areas where you see saplings and small plants and small trees. and then off in the distance, like you see the silhouette running through the field, and you just feel like this place that you've arrived to is one of grandeur, one of divine peace, divine warmth. As you're looking through and across this field, there are these smatterings of as you look into the midst of some of this, you see one tree that is standing prominently. And this tree, it almost has the appearance of being many trees twisted around each other, kind of twisted and intertwined and entangled in and amongst each other. All the leaves on it, very a very bright green, a very just a very nice coloration to them, very lively. And the tree itself almost seems not live in a sense that it's a plant and it's a living thing, but in a sense that the tree is you almost get the feeling that the tree itself is sentient, kind of almost as if you can feel its presence there. And as you're looking at it, it almost responds. It can feel your presence. Okay.
As though it has a soul and being, like,
Right, exactly.
Said that.
So Atlas, you follow this guard over, and he's back over all of you, and he kind of climbs back onto this cart, and waits for you to climb into the cart with him, and then he then snaps the and begins moving. Now, the direction that he's going, it's actually, you note it to be back in the direction or towards the direction of the building where Ulfni took the assessment of your body, where the High Lady was met for the first time in Waterdeep.
There you go.
Okay, the rest of you are, so Skadric, you're sleeping. Roland and Ricard make a couple of investigation checks, and I think that I had you make investigation checks last time also.
Yes, sir.
So, but we've added a little bit to the. So let's make a few more. Let's make a few more of those. So two investigation checks from each of you.
And for the record,
Uh-huh.
I don't know how detailed I'm looking for stuff that's on my list. I'd look for it, but I'm probably not planning on buying it here.
Gotcha.
So I
Okay.
would still look for it, but just
Sure.
to explain if my character's not overly eager to buy over things that are full price, it's because all his money was taken from him. So
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
had a really good investigation last time. Was it with advantage?
It was. Yes, I rolled twice.
Hey,
Oh,
same
wow,
roll.
there you go. They offset each other.
That's
Blackjack.
weird. My dice is in between a 5 and an 18. Like it's on the line. I can't tell which one it is, but on the screen it's 18. In the chat log, so I'll take it.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, DM, I was gonna do something similar. Basically, just trying to see if I find any of those items. Like, I guess I wouldn't buy anything just yet. I just want to see what shops have them. That way, if I need to come back, let's say the next day, I can get there rather quickly.
Yeah, like so we're making detailed, and like I talk about this with you, so I'm gonna make detailed notes of where we find stuff. Okay, Roland?
They have layaway.
Uh,
here.
that's what is layaway?
Oh, essentially, in
Are
the
you talking
Underdark.
about where you give money
This is
and you don't get
establish
stuff
some
for a
canon.
while? Is that what you're talking about? Like
Yeah,
you
like
give
so,
the
like
money and don't get it till you pay it off?
well, we can do that. You can pay in installments, or you can just
I
do
mean,
something
that-
like, hey, can you just
Yeah.
hold this and like tell them like I have the money, I'll get you the money, and they might be like, okay, well, I'll give you the item, but like if you don't give me the money, I'm going to have to cut your toe off.
Yeah,
Like
they-
that kind of layaway,
That's not
or-
layaway. That like
or like
that
they
is
put you in the
usually a deal where
ground.
you end up losing your toe.
Like the long-term layaway for them is like us in the ground, where we're laying away for a while. But more like what you said. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, so if you find something you really, really like it, we could give them money and have them hold it if that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah, that would probably work.
I think we could probably arrange that deal. As far as them letting us leave without paying for it, no, there might be a few merchants where we could.
How much
try and
pull?
talk
How much
something
pull
like
do you
that.
have with the merchants here?
It depends on the merchant, I would think.
Gotcha.
And we will have to see who we see and if I've met them before. And even so, it's like most of the people the people.
As you guys are walking through the streets, shopping, kind of looking around, prices and that you're looking for available.
Okay, David, that was like maybe 30% clear.
Could you
I'm
repeat
sorry.
that, please,
I'm
DM?
so
Yeah.
bad.
That's why I thought we should restart the Discord call. Not.
Yeah.
That's why.
Okay.
That's why I thought we were doing.
David, you hop out and hop back in,
Okay.
That's what I was going
and,
to
and see
suggest.
if that doesn't work. Then
Restart your OBS. Fuck, you went. restart your OBS. That might help you. Because it seems like it's some sort of connection issue.
Yeah.
I
'Cause
just
his
have a
video
feeling
come through
it's the
fine.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
have a feeling it's the server
So-
we're in, period. Like the
Could be.
server instance for the Discord call.
It just seems weird that it's really only affecting him. Like that's the part that's throwing me off because that makes it sound like it might be a bandwidth issue.
Exactly.
But
Yeah,
like I said, his video's coming in fine, so I don't know.
For the
is
time
it-
being.
Does it he's not stuttering? Like his movements aren't like skipping, right? It's just his audio.
Yeah, see, that's not.
Oh snap!
Nothing happened. We saw nothing.
I just dropped an empty bottle. It's okay.
Okay.
Sorry if that was super loud, guys.
It was not.
Scared me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
better.
I guess you gotta apologize to Mav.
Yeah,
I was about to say,
I
Mav.
believe
To be fair, you
myself.
look like you're in.
We can hear you. Yeah, it's just
in the
like,
hiding in the
loud
closet
sentences.
in the middle of a Jason movie.
It seems
just
fine
like
now.
that.
It's just like if you say a whole sentence.
It's a Freddy movie. Thank you.
Okay, so like if I say something like, did that cut out at all?
No, that was
No.
fine.
No, no. that
But
was
again,
good.
I feel like anytime you try to do a test, it's fine. It's like
Right.
It's
As
the
soon as I
universe is
start
like,
talking.
fuck
It's
you when you
against
try to
us,
tell us
right?
important information.
What do you actually have to
Yeah, I would.
relay info?
So just
I would
frame
say
it as a
just
test,
keep
but just
rolling.
tell us something important.
Yeah.
Testing,
Really
testing.
quick.
Oh, you go down this hallway. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Like
For the time being, I'm gonna play around a little bit. on here.
So as you guys are walking through the
We're
shopping,
still
the little market
live,
area,
right?
you,
Coming at
you
you
pass
live.
one of the shops
Right.
that you had purchased from.
mm-hmm.
Cutting out again.
No, I heard,
No,
I heard
you're fine.
no,
Well,
no,
that's
you're
the shop
good
we had
now.
already purchased
Responding to
something.
Mav.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, so as you guys are walking through, you pass one of the shops that
Wait,
you recognize.
I couldn't hear Scottrick actually.
I didn't say anything.
Saying-
Oh, okay. That's probably why I couldn't hear him.
And you see just beyond its door, walking down the street,
So how about
this
that weather over there?
little old hunched woman.
Okay.
And
Right.
she kind of hears the footsteps coming from behind her, and she turns, and she's like, "Oh, it's my good friends."
Oh God.
She's like, I
Is,
didn't know you all.
Is
She
DM
says,
speaking right now?
You
Oh God,
I can't hear him
should
at all
come
now.
by
Yeah,
and
now Keegan can't
check.
hear David.
Yeah, I can't hear you at all.
I think that's
Yeah.
usually fixed by Q-Rain coming out and back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll jump out. I'll be right back.
I'm having PTSD. I literally didn't know who this was, and then I was like, "Oh God, no!" It's like Zephyr Strike, and then I just leave.
Is that in character? Are you doing
Is
that?
this-
Or are
No,
you
I'm
talking-
joking.
Is this somebody?
joking.
Is this somebody I recognize, DM?
Absolutely.
Oh, you don't remember this?
Oh gosh, my
Yeah,
memory is
so,
failing.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's
out
I
of
have-
character.
Can
were
we
in,
out of character remind me? Is that okay?
Oh, is that okay, DM? If I tell him,
Yeah. Roland, you can recount the story if you'd like.
I'm just gonna be like, "This is the woman from, I believe it was, it wasn't Dragon Spirit, it was Daggerford."
Yep.
Right.
Daggerford, yeah. So right before we left Daggerford, when we went to the marketplace to
Oh,
look for some magic items, and she kind of showed us like 3, but it took her like an hour to explain what.
yeah.
Yeah. So okay.
I
She
knew there
says-
was a reason I'd forgotten.
Oh yeah. My
And
my
she says, "Look what I just got."
Now, what
And
is
she
that? Please do
pulled
tell.
the-
I
the,
remember you.
large black leathered bound tome
Oh
that
no.
seems to have writhing about beneath its surface.
I'm gonna back up.
Check.
I'm backing up.
23 Arcana check, please, DM.
Yeah, so you remember having, this is the book that you looked at and had explained to you from the shop that she has now purchased and is kind of making her way through the city.
I'm like, that is very neat. You know what it is, right? And you're not going to open it, right?
Oh, she says, "Oh no, not at all.
Oh, not at all. You don't know what it is, or not at all. You're not going to open it.
I don't planning on opening it."
Oh, okay. Why did you buy that thing? Pray tell.
It just fits with the stuff I sell.
Okay. Kind of odd.
That's
Random
it though. I say from like a distance.
I look over my
Yeah.
shoulder. I'm like, yeah, she did kind of have just random odd magic items.
I mean, there's
She
odd,
kinda-
and then there's that.
She kind of points and she's like, "You guys should come and check it out." And then
Do you have new things?
a couple.
Oh god. Okay, so 15 minutes.
How
Couple things.
far away is your stuff?
What 2 new things do you have? Just tell me what they are. You just the item's name. You don't have to go into detail. I don't want to waste your time. But that will tell us if we need to come there and look at some
For
clothes.
time.
She says that she has a few things that she begins to describe to you a little bit, and so one of the things that she mentions, the book that she's just purchased. She mentions that she has a couple of new weapons, and then she mentions that she has a crystal of seeing. And says that you should come to the shop, but she doesn't have time to tarry. She needs to make her way with haste.
How
And
far away is the shop?
I want to know what haste looks like for her.
so as you're turning, or as she's turning to walk away, it is, like you could casually walk and be at least keeping pace with her. So her hastily movement and her geriatric state kind of puts her at a very slow crawl almost. So she mentions to you guys that her shop is currently out towards the southward, but she's planning to move it with some help, obviously, to the market area, which is where you guys are now.
Okay.
So,
Well,
and you guys do.
I kind of look back at Roland. I'm like, well, that's kind of where in the direction we need to head anyway, ultimately. But yeah.
Yeah. You know what? We could just meet her at her shop on the way back. So we just
Yeah.
go on ahead and just dash on to where we got to go, and then I whisper to Ricard,
Yeah.
we'll probably get there, and then have to still wait for her to show up for
Yeah,
her shop. by the time we
probably.
get
I
to the
asked her if she can tell me exactly where her shop is. Can she do that, DM?
She can, and she describes with a certain amount of time a certain length of time that she spends describing the directions street by street.
No, I tell her, look, I know the city. I just need the street, like that you're on, which side it's on, and closest intersection. That's all I need. Just those simple things, and we're good.
And so she says the southernmost portion where the Way of the Dragon and the High Road meet.
Okay.
That's
So
where
you're
she
near the
says her
south
stopping
gate,
point.
basically. Okay, gotcha.
Okay. Cool. So, Kidron, as you're standing there, you're looking at this tree, and then suddenly this tree is blotted out with an incredibly bright light. And as you're kind of looking, you almost have to shade your eyes because of how bright the light is. When this you see kind of silhouetted in this bright light this highly armored caped figure descending from the sky, kind of floating down, and he's this figure is floating down quite gracefully. As he lands, he is wearing heavy plated, diamond encrusted chrome armor that's just absolutely glimmering. The weaves of silver and gold emblazon the giant symbol of Lathander on the breastplate. A large sword at his side. This silk golden cape flowing from behind him, and he takes two steps forward, and in this voice that almost sounds ethereal or astral or phantasmal, but very soft, very warming, he says, "Hello, my child."
I kneel immediately. And I say thank you for your gifts. And what graces me with your presence, and I am very merrily humbled. And I kind of like dip down a little bit more, as a just about as deep as you can get in that kneeling position. Like my chest is like I'm trying to pretty much like put my shoulders to the ground, like that deep type of way, because it's very humbling, very honored. And I'll say that too. Like I'm very honored.
He walks over to you, and he puts a hand on your shoulder and kind of stands you upright. And he says, "You've been doing well." And he says, "See your work." And as he kind of steps and moves one hand out, almost as if guiding your vision out into the open field. And as he does so, you see all these like little saplings begin to sprout a bit, and then you actually start to recognize the landscape. As you guys are standing there, and he's motioning outward, the landscape begins to move past you, even though you guys are standing in place, and it's beginning to move past you quite rapidly, and it does so for a few moments, and then it slows. And as it slows, you see one particular area. You recognize this. There's a forest edge here. And you recognize it as having been along the tradeway, just west of this particular forest, south of Daggerford. There is a sapling that has sprouted, and then he kind of points it out to you, and then the the landscape around you begins to blur by again. And you're passing southward along the tradeway, and you recognize the rooftops of Dragon Spear as you guys kind of glide over it rapidly, and then it slows again just south of Dragon Spear, and there is another little seedling sapling that you see, and it's a bit larger than the first one that you saw, and then the landscape begins to blur past you again, and it stops. And when it stops, you see just a little ways north of the troll claws. You see you recognize another, what is basically this small tree, and then all of it blurs past you as you move back to where you were standing originally in this field that was once the field of the stadium, but now is just this astral field. And as you're standing there, he says, "You're of great importance." And he says, "You will serve me well." He says, "I have brought to you a gift. There it lies in the tree." He says, "Now go, my child, and continue to carry my message." And then he kind of backs away from you, and he kind of bows his head just a touch, and then stands back up and begins to ascend again up into the sky.
Oh, illuminated one. I have a query, a question.
And
As I kind of like hold my arms up like this, in such a manner.
And as he's beginning to ascend a little, he asks, "What is your question?"
You don't have to answer at once. In this instance, I'm humbled and I feel blessed. How may I help one of my comrades trapped within another entity, another realm of sorts? Please, I need guidance. My friends and I need guidance. I wish to see him once more.
He says, "The path lies before you. You will know the way." And then he continues to ascend up into the sky, disappearing in this bright light. The bright light then kind of comes to a focal point, like to a focus, shining down on this sentient tree that you've seen with all of its various husks and stalks kind of interwoven. Um, so
I begin to approach and take what is needed.
as you approach, the tree itself, it begins to move ever so slightly, and the closer that you approach, the more that it moves. And as you're watching it, you see that the way in which it's moving, it's almost as if its various entanglements are beginning to unweave themselves and unwind themselves, starting from the top of the tree, working its way down the trunk of the tree. And the closer you get, the more that it does so, eventually to a point where these large masses of vine-like structures have unwoven themselves like 2/3 of the way down the tree trunk, and have folded themselves outward, revealing in the center of the tree a hilt that sticks up.
And then I say very loudly, I say, We carry the sun in our hearts, and I grab the hilt and pull on the hilt.
Copyright.
So as you grab the hilt and pull, you pull out this great sword. The hilt of this great sword, very elaborately woven gold handle with the symbol of Lathander cut in sapphire laid into where the hilt meets the blade. The blade an incredibly bright, shining silver. And it feels a bit lightweight. It's a fairly light sword.
My Adrian from the leftmost farthest part, probably a tear fell down from his eye right there. Yeah, he felt it. Yeah, he felt it in the feels right there. Yeah, exactly. He's like, yes.
As you're holding the sword, the bright sunlight kind of fades a bit, returning to its normal state, and you find yourself once again sitting crisscross in the field of the stadium, surrounded by all of this, matted and absent of living things, all of this dirt. With like little patches of grass here and there, with this one small sapling in front of you, sitting across your lap with your left hand holding onto the hilt, is the sword that you withdrew from this tree. And I have stats for that, and I will send that to you momentarily.
Praise the sun.
Yeah.
So Atlas, you've. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gidrin.
I was gonna say I take my cape and I kind of like use the very same sword. Actually, no. I would take out my dagger, cut my cape up, and then start wrapping this sword up to for the sheath, as it were, and try to like tie it up and cover it up.
Okay.
And then I'll utter, still in the same position, I'll say, there will always be another dawn. and then begin to pray. Yes, continue to pray to Lathander.
So Atlas, you've made your way on this cart. This cart has led you basically back to the building that you had met Ulfni at before. And as you arrive, you find there are a couple of guardsmen there. Standing outside of the building are a few guards and the High Lady standing with Ulfni, who's currently inside your body, or your other body. As you approach, Ulfni gets an excited look on his face, but he also appears to have like a hurried look on his face. And as you guys approach, Ulfni kind of makes a move and he walks over and looks in your direction and beckons for you to come quickly, and says, we have to go and speak to your parents, and we have to go quickly. We have to go speak to your parents as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah, let's do it.
So
I'm excited.
He hops in the cart with you, climbs into the cart with you, and you guys begin to make your way through the city in the direction of what you know to be your home, where your home is located. So Roland and Ricard, you guys do manage to find all of the items on your list, save for the Luckstone. The Luckstone is the only thing that you don't seem to come across.
Okay.
And I have a pricing list for you guys.
Yeah. I was going to say monocle on,
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like the only magic item I think I have right now. I'm not correct. incorrect.
Yeah, so I've got a pricing list for you.
And I added to my list, DM, just for the record. But most of these are future goals. So,
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
what I kind of sent to you, I thought would all be feasible type of things that I could possibly buy one of, type of thing. But cool.
Doesn't seem to be anything too. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Doesn't seem to be anything too bad. Any more cutting out of the audio?
No,
I don't
No,
know.
Not at
it's
all.
been doing great.
Good.
Been doing
Cool.
great.
Okay. Yeah, those of you on Twitch, sorry about that. Don't know what was the cause of that. That was just strange. Okay. So yeah, you guys are riding through the street back towards where your home is. Now, Kidron, as you're brought back from this divine plane, you're holding this sword, and it feels quite light, almost as if you could use it one-handed and still reap the benefits of using it two-handed.
Okay, Cloud Strike.
All
How
rights
did you know
reserved and
that's what it was called? Like what?
copyrighted. No, yeah, yeah. All rights and copyrights reserved.
Let's see. So I can send you the information if you want, or I can just update it on your character sheet. Like I can send it to you, and you can update it on your character sheet if you want, or I can update it on your character sheet.
Which one's
for you.
easier?
Either or, it doesn't matter to me.
Fantastic. I can totally update it.
Okay, so I'll shoot that over to you.
Would be my pleasure to add this to my inventory.
Yeah, because I still think
As a
they
knight,
have your
as
sword
an-
and shield, right?
So this is totally out of character, obviously. Have you always had a greatsword?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I've
Very
always
nice.
been carrying this.
I thought you had a long
What's his name?
Yeah, it was a
You had a
long
Chris
name
Grant
was,
long sword?
After you guys
It was
killed,
Drax the Beheader.
Oh, I thought we sold that.
Drax the Beheader. I have it in my inventory still, the longsword.
Okay.
I still have it. I have a longsword, a javelin, and then a halberd. I have the halberd.
of course,
still,
all that's been
that,
confiscated.
from that lady.
Yeah.
Right. Everything's. I mean, it's all gone. Drax the Beheader's gone too. Good. It's a new stone-ish. I'm gonna start beheading
You
people
also
with
got
this. and-
that prismatic sword, right?
He did get that. And then
And-
now it's gone. Before you got to
Yeah, I was
use
gonna
it.
say when. I was like, when did I get that? I don't remember I just put it away. Oh, my shield. Holy. Oh man.
Okay. Cool. So as you come back to, you have the sword in your hand or whatever, you note that pretty much everybody has vacated the stadium. You're standing there alone at this point. So
What'd you say? What's he laughing about?
Can you not hear him?
I don't know.
just talking about you standing
like, can you
alone
repeat
in the
yourself?
stadium now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then he started laughing. So it's like,
So Skodrick, after being able to finally get a full rest and removing your exhaustion, you wake up in the building in which y'all had met with the High Lady earlier. Now at this point, the High Lady is not in the room with you any longer, and also you note that the room has reverted to its original state. You see the ornate tables and chairs running alongside the walls. The one incredibly ornate fireplace and mantle burning. You can see outside the two windows to the outside, with little candles sitting inside their sills. The finely polished wood, the shiny wood flooring. After a time, Atlas, you guys arrive at what is your home. And your parents are standing outside the front door, and they're kind of waiting. They're waiting for you guys to arrive. And they see you, and there's a look on their face, and the looks on their faces are those of mixed emotions, very highly mixed emotions. And at first, at first your mom makes a move to essentially run up and hug Ulfni, who is in your child body currently. But then you see your dad kind of put out a hand and kind of hold on to her, and she looks at him, and he whispers something to her, and she's like, oh yeah. And then she kind of stops. So as you guys climb off the cart and begin to approach them, they're regarding you. They're kind of trying to take you in. And they are not they're just having some struggles with this. They're not exactly in the best place emotionally. Now make a perception check for me.
All right. Very good. Shite.
The emotions are taking over.
Yeah, I mean, all I'm looking at is my mom and dad and trying to
Right.
make eye contact with them.
Right.
They're not his real parents.
Ridiculous.
The polyjuice potion that's sitting on the no. So after you guys are approaching, and as you and Ulfni are approaching them, the guard kind of hangs out with the cart, and Ulfni turns back and mentions to the guard that you guys will be out after a while for him just to wait around, and he nods his head in agreement. You guys turn back around and begin to move towards your parents, and they're watching, they're kind of looking slowly, and your father, he's standing there, and he's like, son, I don't, wow, and your mother is standing there, tears beginning to well up in her eyes, and they reluctantly at first, but with slowly growing confidence, move towards you, and then they both come up and embrace you in a hug.
I was gonna say, as they start moving, I'm gonna slowly start moving myself towards them, steam coming out of my legs and arms and stuff, and then I fully embrace them and say, I love you guys. I hope you still love me.
When you say that, your mother absolutely just starts sobbing at this point. And your father, his voice cracking slightly, kind of leans back and he says, we didn't know, we've been confused. And he says, of course we still love you. And then he says, come, let's go inside. And your mom kind of turns, and she's like, through her sobs, she says, I'll make tea. And they kind of lead you guys into the house. And the house is just as you basically just as you left it. Everything is recognizable. Everything is in the same place that it has been. It's just as you realized, or just as you remember, just as you recall. And they kind of guide you to where your dining place is, your dining mats are, and they pull some chairs around so all of you can sit down. And your mother begins to stoke some flames in her little kitchen area so that she can put a pot of tea on. And so your father, still regarding you, trying to take you in your entirety, and he kind of leans back and he's like, well, at least you can walk now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Dad. Looks like I've really grown up into a full-grown guy now, huh?
He says, it seems you have. And he looks over and he says, at first we didn't want to accept it. And he says, but we could tell because your mannerisms were different. And finally, when we accepted the idea that this might not be our son, and he points over to Ulfney sitting next to you, he says, it was a bit of a shock, as you can tell, and as I'm sure it has been for you. And he says, Ulfney has been telling us of a way for you to possibly change back, to swap back.
Yeah. Now, is Ulfney actually in the room, by the way?
Yes, he's sitting there next to you at essentially what is your dining room table.
I guess I'll look over at him and would we actually swap? Like, would you take this body and then I would take my old one back, or is there any way for you to get your own body back?
And he says,
from before.
He leans in and he says, "Well, that's what the hope would be." He says, "I don't know how it would work specifically. What has been done required a significant amount of energy, and there are only a few things that I could think of that we could use to produce that amount of energy again." He says, "But I've had some ideas, and your dad places on the table this mechanical looking type device, something small enough to hold in your hand, but large enough that large enough that you couldn't close your fingers around it. It is this bronze type brass frame looking with all of these little posts and cogs about it, with in the center of it this green glowing crystal that is pulsating brightly, this green light flickering in and out, kind of pulsing rhythmically. And your dad looks over at Ulfney and he says, it's been glowing much brighter now." And Ulfney is like, yes, that seems logical. He says,
What is it? I don't understand.
Ulfney looks over at you and he says, well, it's a part of you. It's a part of this body that I had constructed. He says, it had gotten away from me. He says, unfortunately, there was a time where I was taken hostage. And he recounts to you this tale of discovering the infiltration of some of the political parties. And he tells you of a passageway between his his other warehouse and the castle. And he kind of details for you his capture, and not necessarily that he was tortured, though some of the exaggeration he adds makes it sound like torture, and some of the things that were taken from his warehouse then. And he said that it seemed that your parents had happened upon this item um, as part of some sort of trade. Somebody had come in wanting to make a significant purchase or order of bread and didn't really have much to give. And your parents, being the benevolent people they are, decided to help him out and just asked for whatever it was that he thought might be of decent or significant value, and this is the item that he passed along. Ulfney explains to you that this particular item was, or what he assumes is, the reason for the transference having happened the way that it did. He says, please let me see your left arm.
Okay, since you said please.
And so you hold out your left arm to him, and he kind of moves some of the wrapping that you have around your left arm, revealing a plate on the inside of the left arm of your forearm. And he kind of moves some little pegs around and opens this plate on the inside of your forearm, revealing on the inside of your forearm this hole. In this hole, you kind of recognize that it almost like a puzzle piece. He picks up this device and fits it into this hole. As he fits it into this hole, your arm kind of starts clicking back and forth. Some of the components on the inside begin to kind of move around a bit, shift around a bit, and he closes the plate. Suddenly, you feel this wave of additional energy kind of flow through your body. And he says, will you please reveal your chest plate?
Sure. I'll open it for you.
Okay, so as you
What is this going to do?
And he says, you'll see. And as you
Sounds
remove
good.
your robing,
Boy.
he tells you not to open the chest plate, but only to reveal it. As you reveal your chest plate, you note that it is beginning to shift around a significant amount. The various cogs and wheels in your chest. There are a couple of the posts that will formulate what would be your collarbone. You see them or feel them shifting around a bit, when suddenly the entirety of your chest plate begins to remove from yourself. It falls on the floor in front of you, plate downward, revealing this cacophony of wheels and cogs. And you see this green energy kind of moving in and out of it, moving through it, these electrical pulses, these sparks kind of, you see the green pulsating light that you know to be the heart of your body pulsating inside of this little thing that has separated itself. As you're sitting there, and watching it, your parents in absolute shock at this point.
Yeah.
This giant cavity now where your chest plate once was, you're staring down at this cacophony of brass components, copper components. It almost begins to. It almost seems as if some of its levers and things are moving independently of each other, and it begins to unfold. And as it unfolds, it reveals these four appendages that then reach down and touch the ground. Two of the appendages pushing rapidly with great pressure, flipping this thing over so that it can be lifted off the ground on these 4 appendages. And then you see it, and it, in a vague sense of the term, it begins to walk across the floor. It begins to move across the floor, and it kind of turns to face you. The 2 appendages furthest from you kind of folding, and it takes this form of what you would think of a 4-legged creature sitting in front of you and looking.
It looks sentient.
Yes.
Now, did it grab the orb or the plate from my chest?
So the plate is attached to it.
Okay, that makes sense. And what's left over on my chest now?
It's basically a big cavity.
Oh, that's not good. Well, so this thing seems to be sentient. Like, is it looking up at me? Like, does it have eyes or anything?
It doesn't have any eyes, but it definitely seems to be, if it were to have a face, it would be facing you right now.
Okay. I'm gonna say, Ulfni, what just happened and why?
He says, sorry, I was just reading. Okay, so he looks over to you and he says, this is a something in my notes.
Hey. Can't wait.
Ta-da!
Come at you live. Battle cry or die.
He says this what you could call creature acts as an extension of yourself. He says you can command it telepathically.
Oh,
He says essentially
sick.
it's almost like a familiar type deal. And I have that information that I can send to you.
that'll be fine. I do have a question for Ulfni. Or
Yeah.
for you, Ulfni. This is really nice and, flashy and everything, but I don't mean to sound rude, but what's the point in all this if I'm not gonna have this body soon?
And he says, well, it may not be soon.
Okay.
Says the device that I had used that caused the transfer initially has been destroyed. He says it was destroyed in the process of enacting this occurrence. And he says to you, we're going to require a significant amount of
You said
nearly
energy before.
Yes. A significant amount of energy, nearly divine or interplanar energy. The kind of energy
Wow.
we need, or the level of energy we need, would be the same amount of energy required to, say, open a large portal between planes, or cause a mountain to fly, or a city to fly, or
Those require the same amount of energy. Oh, sorry.
Wow. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wow.
I'm not entirely too familiar with, how to come about stuff like that. But if it's, any debt that I can pay for, me not just dying in my old body, and if there's something that I can do to help, then I'm totally willing to do that. However, I am a little concerned going back to my old self.
And he says, well, he says, if walking was the issue that concerns you, he says, um, I have come up with a temporary solution. And he stands up and he begins to show you these apparatus that he has now attached from his waist, from technically your waist, down to the ankles. It seems that he has fastened these various portions of apparatus onto himself, and walks you through essentially the construction of these, as well as how they're controlled, and the stability that they provide, the ability to walk. He says, though, that they would require maintenance and will wear down eventually. He says, at least for a time, they can support your body.
Well, that sounds pretty nice. There is a lot more that goes into it, but I don't really expect anyone to fully understand unless they've been in it. But it's okay. We'll figure something out in the future. But for now, you mentioned something earlier about an idea that you had back in your workshop. Did you ever figure that out, or was that something you were still thinking on?
And he says, oh, yes, let me tell you about that. And then he begins to go into all the details regarding that, including some of the other details, and they kind of fit together. How he begins to describe that idea and the way in which you could use that, and he tells you tells you of the implementation. And so some of the details, the reason that I'm being vague about this is some of the details I'm going to send to you specifically.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay. So Skadric, after reaching your full rest, you wake up in this room, and you've seemingly been left alone. Also, you don't see any guards standing in here, but you do hear voices coming from downstairs.
All right. Do I recognize any of the voices?
No,
Okay.
you don't.
Can I take a look around and see if I can grab or find the proper material to to ritual cast divination?
So in this room, you wouldn't be able to find that material. The room is fairly. Now, when I say empty, it's empty of any kind of like materials, or there is one desk that has some parchment and ink and quill in it, with some wax, some sealing wax, not sealing wax, but like to seal letters with and things. But outside of that, there's not really any components in here per se. Now, being that you're in Waterdeep, you do know that you could go out into some of the marketplace areas or some of the other areas that have some shops and things, and you would be able to find that material.
Okay. Well, yeah, and I guess I'm the only one here right now, so.
Right.
And have I had any contact with Went at all, the bird?
Not yet.
Okay. So, screw it. I'll go ahead and cast sending to Ricard. Ask him his location, and I'll try to catch up to him.
Okay. So, Ricard, you receive this as you and Roland are shopping.
Like, okay, so we were heading to my parents' shop. Did I get this at that point, or?
It would be at the point just before you guys left the primary market area
Okay.
and headed towards your shop.
All right. I'll tell him we're still at the main market, near where we left him, but we're about to head south towards my family shop.
Quick question: how much time have we gone since we left?
Hours. It's been quite a few hours. It's
Okay. Are the boots attuned?
let me see. Let me check their attunement. Their time for attunement real quick. I've got the wrong book open. Because I've got that.
Yeah, I thought you had to do a short rest to attune to something.
Do I need to actually be asleep, or is it just the time frame of a short rest?
It's the activity of a short rest, unless DM says otherwise. It's like you stop and rest for the duration of a short rest.
I'm sure y'all might have went to like a food place to eat.
I mean, you could have
That would count.
given me said, hey, while we're looking, I'm gonna stop and take a rest. I mean, that's a possibility. If we've been doing like looking in this place for hours, yeah, you could have definitely had the time to do that, I would think.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
Like maybe I kept on looking for stuff and making notes.
So
And
I think that for these purposes, like a short rest in this type of scenario would take a little longer than a typical short rest, just because you guys are up and moving, but because of the inexertion of effort or energy in order to accomplish the task that you're working on right now, you still would manage to get enough of a short rest.
Oh, okay.
To be
maybe
able
we
to
stopped and had lunch, and that was enough time to take a short rest, type of thing, something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool.
So, do you let me know that you talk to Skadric, or are you in the middle of the? I guess I'm trying to figure out. Is this after the conversation, or?
Yeah, he did sending to me, like is after we talked to the old lady, right?
Yes.
So we're kind of about to leave, headed down. Have I got time frame right? Headed down to Stoneflyer shop.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, I tell you, we picked up a few things in the marketplace. Roland got his boots, and we're about to head down to the Stoneflyer shop, my family's shop.
All right, put on my armor and whatever I have. And
Do you want to meet us?
Well, I can't send another one. So
Yeah, I'm like,
gonna...
as I stated, I'm like, can I roll an intelligence check? I know how sending works well enough, DM. So I can tell him where to meet us at.
We've been around him enough when he sent those, right? To know that
I would think I probably have, but
yeah, like I don't.
Me myself.
Respond. Unless he says another one.
You would know. You would probably know that.
Me, okay. Do you want to meet us at? Or if you want to meet us,
tell him to meet us. Just tell him, and we'll wait.
I'm just taking a out of game minute
to gather yourself.
The location where he's at. That's on Tharleon Street. Am I remembering that correct?
So it is the corner of. I'm looking at my map here. It is in the North Ward.
Yep. Is it North Ward or Castle Ward? North Ward. If so,
So
then
it is the corner of. Oh yeah. The Castle Ward. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Tharleon, the corner of Tharleon and the Street of Silks, essentially.
Street Silks.
yeah.
So I tell him I'll meet him at the other end of the street he's on, at the corner of Street of Silver and Tharleon Street.
So you're heading back towards where he is?
Well, we're about to leave the market is when this happens.
Okay.
So
I just didn't know
We'll just-
how far away we were.
I'll tell him we'll be there in 5 minutes. If there's enough words left. If there's not, then we'll be never mind.
Well, okay. You just told him.
What's up, Roland?
I was just you told him that we're gonna meet him.
Yeah, we'll meet him at on the way heading south. Yeah.
Gotcha.
We just we've spent a lot of time in the market, so so it's after lunchtime, I take it, DM?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
So this would be like mid-afternoon, mid to
So-
late afternoon.
Okay.
3, 4 o'clock.
It's not.
Yep.
I'd say we need to get him and hurry.
DM, are you gonna send us the prices for the stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
We just made note of everything. The only thing we bought was the winged boots, right?
Right.
Roland? Was that
Yes. As far as I know, yeah.
I'm going to post it in the group chat, but I will. This does not include the newest list, the consent record, so I will
Okay,
add
yeah.
that a little bit later.
Yeah, of course. Not a problem.
No joke.
DM, could I, as we're getting close there, could I see if there's anybody like pulling rickshaws, anything like that, that would speed our progress through the city? That
Yeah, absolutely.
higher.
Yeah, and in fact, there are quite a few that are wandering through the city all over the place.
Right. So can I wave one down?
You sure can.
Additional question. The weapon of warning. What was the actual weapon?
Which one were you looking for?
I mean, I was fine with the dagger. I didn't need to be anything serious.
Okay, let me add you a second price on there.
Okay. Second price. Additional fees. DLC.
Yeah, the first one's just a finder's fee, bro. The
Okay.
second
Yeah,
one's
sure.
For 5 small payments of $999, all you have to do is
Small as a dagger.
for 100 easy payments of $29.99.
Mm-hmm.
right. You too can own a massive new boat just for you.
This thing
But
better have
actual
enough
advertisement.
energy to put Atlas back in his body.
Right? Not actual
Fuck.
advertisement. Thank you all.
Do you have any planar energy for sale? like enough to like
You
make
got
a portal and
planar,
also to like move a whole
battery.
fucking mountain. Like the same
Right.
amount, right? Just I don't know how this shit works. Science,
Like,
it's
can, I,
magic.
can I just get some
Fair.
psionic tattoos real quick? Can we do
It's a
that?
fair question
Right.
too. To both all fair questions. Yes.
Roll an investigation check, see if you can find a tattoo.
How do those work? exactly?
That's the best answer. I love that. Go ahead and roll.
I mean, I'm not gonna stop you.
Right. Oh jeez. So
That's additional.
No.
That's it's for
Yeah.
I probably would just
These
bought
all
that.
things that the party has,
Honestly,
or just
like-
like options?
It was only 197. I would have just
whatever,
bought
what
that.
is this? What is that? Missing it. Hold
I can't.
I don't know,
can't
that's-
check
Say
this
that again,
right
Alex?
now.
I was
I see
saying,
it, I see it
are
now.
these all things that we all have in the party, or is this something that's just
This
part of the
was- this
shop?
That's their,
Our
that's their
shopping list.
shopping list.
it's part of the shop.
Okay.
This is just their
I see.
price
What we
list.
knew. So like, I mean, the half plate. I'm assuming I can just find that at a basic armor
Yeah.
shop. Okay.
As far as what we could tell on the party, by the way, just as a out of character reminder, whenever you guys gave me leather armor before, it pretty much just fit, even though it wasn't sized for me.
Okay, yeah. We
But
just want to
that's
make
what
sure
we
it's not
know
cursed.
as far as what happened before. So
Yeah.
Talked about something
I don't
like
know
that
if you
last
need to
week.
get like custom made armor or anything.
Yeah, I think I asked last time. I think we just said it would just form to his body, right?
Right.
Well, it's magic armor, so I think
So cool.
technically that does that anyway. But
That armor specifically was magic armor.
yes.
Oh, yeah, cursed.
It is
Mhm.
true, actually. So maybe you could give me some +1 half plate.
Plus, we're asking for plus
Well,
one.
you get some plus
Yeah,
one
you get
half
plus one money.
Hey, I will one day. Hey, that's the
I'm
thing
all
is
like,
Hey.
I will one day, and I know you're all about making money, so we could
It's a
you know,
goal.
use some
There you go.
interest games. This could be like a bond,
Yeah.
something.
It could be just like Ricard's goal of getting glamored mithril breastplate. Yeah.
I mean, think about it. You could charge like a 7% interest rate, and you could literally make money just by buying me the half plate.
So you said glamored, and I'm
Oh, yeah.
picturing like this like 14-year-old girl with the little rhinestones and a
No.
hot glue gun.
Not say glamour, not bedazzled.
You mean bedazzled?
Bedazzled is a completely different thing.
We said it already.
Glamored is hilarious and fits a character. It allows him to make it look like whatever he wants it to look like.
Yeah.
Right.
So like literally you never need a change of clothes.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah.
Maybe you mean
Okay,
college
so-
glamour from Bard subclasses.
Right. You're right.
I'm just
So
kidding.
what's our price, good sir, for riding
For some
down
half plate.
to the rickshaw?
He says 15 silver pieces is what he would charge for
Okay.
a full
Uh,
ride down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell him, we have to make one stop. There will be a third person, and I assume that's already been communicated. So
Sure.
tell him, will that be a ride back as well?
And he says he'll give you a discount and he'll do 25 for there and back.
oh, thank you. Really needed that discount.
Wow.
I mean, I do. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I want him to know how much money you have. I gotta sell it.
Is that in
Uh,
character?
I mean, the part where he's saying, it was,
Yeah.
You don't want the part of you saying you don't want him to know how much
I
money.
didn't say that. No, I was because I was talking to Skadrick, but he's not here, so I was assuming it was out of character. That part,
All right.
the other
so
part
I-
about.
So I agree, and so we get on our way.
Yeah, I was gonna say if the dagger was 197, I would have just bought that because I needed a weapon on me because I don't want to
Oh, yeah.
caught off guard with nothing.
Excuse me.
All right, guess you're gonna go pick up Skadrick.
I would have just made detailed notes of where everything was at.
Sure. So you can find it easily next time.
Yes, so I can find it easily either later today or whenever tomorrow, depending on what I'm able to find at my shop, my family's business.
Okay.
So yeah, we go to pick up Skadrick.
See something?
What was it? Oh God.
No.
As you guys are pulling up to the intersect where you've agreed to meet Skadrick and
Don't want a dart in the neck.
you know what? It's funny you say that. Because Roland, no. There is another horse-drawn buggy, and it's like a buggy's for only a couple of people to sit in. comes trotting down the road, and so Skodrick, at this point, you could have made your way out of the building over to the intersection that they're talking about.
Okay.
And so just as you're like arriving, and Roland, you find Roland and Ricard kind of sitting there waiting with this rickshaw or whatever. This horse-drawn buggy comes riding down the street, like trotting down the street past you guys. As it's passing you, you hear this old woman's voice. Don't forget to come visit my shop.
Oh God.
Sure thing.
Not her.
Of course. Bye bye.
And as she's doing this, she's waving this book in the air that
Oh no.
Oh, God.
you guys had seen her purchase, and it slips from her fingers.
How far away is she?
That's a one.
And it hits the ground.
I'm gonna activate my boots and fly like 30 feet in the air
So
immediately.
at this point, she's made her way well past you guys. So you guys aren't within the vicinity when this happens, but
Okay.
the book drops to the ground, and when it drops to the ground, the cover falls open. Go ahead, Kidron.
Is Roland still flying?
I didn't say that exactly. I don't know.
Given that you're out of the quote unquote strike zone at this point, that would be something that's your call. You don't have to decide to do that or not.
I mean, did you tell us the range of that before? Like how far
I believe I knew everything, just
Yes.
about everything about it. Was
Okay.
it like, is it 10 feet?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, if it's further than that, I'm
How
not
It's
gonna.
far
increased.
away is it when it hits the ground? It
Yeah.
doesn't flop open.
It's 20 feet from you guys.
Is it open?
25. It's closer to 25 feet from you guys.
Okay.
But it is 10 cubic feet that it reaches.
Just gonna hover back.
Um,
Um,
so
did she realize she dropped it, I assume?
Drop it. And you're just like,
make a
"Whoa."
perception check.
You're just like,
Okay.
get the fuck out of here.
I assume it was in her hand.
Yes.
I would assume, but okay.
Okay, so you see her, and the cart has begun to wheel around.
Can I
And
cast, as it goes to reel around, is the book open and tentacles flying out, or?
so you see the book fall open, and as it falls open, this black smoke billows out only a little, but as this black smoke seemingly opening a portal to some kind of dark, demented world, emerging from this black smoke, these enormous black tentacles come writhing out about the book, slamming the street all around it. They're just kind of flailing wildly.
DM?
Uh-huh.
Can I cast Mage Hand
Certainly.
on the spine of the book and close the book with Mage Hand?
Yeah, definitely.
It's 30-foot range, so if it's 25 foot away, I should be able to reach it.
Yes,
As long as
you
it
definitely
works.
can.
I'm just thinking bad touch, bad touch, bad
Does it-
touch.
Does it work? Am I able to close it?
You are.
Okay.
You are able to close it.
Does and the tentacles go away?
They do instantaneously.
Okay. I'll
Um,
use-
not the book has closed. The few moments that the book was open, you note that there has been some damage to the area around the book a
I
bit.
look at the lady.
How
Okay.
much damage?
Not a whole lot, but you do note that over on one side of the roadway in this particular area, there is seemingly a collapse, some sort of small, like just like a 5 square feet collapse on the side of the roadway here.
Like the ground collapsed in to something
Yes.
below it.
Yes.
I'm gonna kind of just have the book kind of. I'm gonna run over to where the book is at and just have it slowly like veer my attention from the book to the collapse and go over and check it out. Like having the book kind of hover with me because I assume she's wheeling back.
Oh yeah. She's making her way back to you guys, and the cart kind of comes to a stop over next to where the book is, as it's floating towards you a bit. And she climbs out of the back of the cart, and she kind of yells out to you. She's like, "Oh, thank you," she says. "I knew you were a nice person.
Of
Come
course.
to my shop, and for that I'll give you a discount."
I do appreciate that. It seems to have done some damage over here. What do I see in the collapsed area? And I'm going to kind of hold the book, like not trying to keep it from her, but maybe
Sure.
just out of reach of her just snagging it and dropping it again, right?
Okay, yeah, sure, certainly. So as you make your way over, make a perception check. And Roland and Skodrick, you guys are standing there as well. You're welcome to do the same.
I'm just gonna
Um,
float overhead, like 30 feet.
I'm going to have
Down
my
shut the book.
my pseudo dragon is on my shoulder, of course. Is it okay if I have him
yes,
do a
you can
check as
also roll
well?
for it.
Okay.
So Kidron,
Advantage.
you have
Not very well.
begin to make your way out of the stadium holding your brand new shiny sword.
Jesus,
And
You toy.
don't see shit.
as you, oh my god, as you make your way
Great
out of the
rolls.
stadium or whatever,
Huh?
you pass one of the
Hmm.
entrances and you find that there's a guard standing on either side. The cart that brought you in is gone at this point, and none of your fellow party mates are anywhere to be seen.
Okay.
So you do see the roadway, the streetway. It's pretty busy at this point. The hustle and bustle of the city is in full swing. There are people all over the place. The roadway's not entirely crowded, and especially this area, given that this specific area isn't the marketplace. Though it is a fairly popular area. The roadways here are very large, and you do see some rickshaws about. There are a couple of horses. You look over to one side or whatever, and you see this place over next to the stadium. It's like this guy. He's got this little stand. There's some half emaciated looking horses, and there's a sign that says "Horse for Hire." Um, so there's just some hustle and bustle going
Okay.
on. What would you like to do?
So, seeing that the horse that's for hire, I've raised my hand out and I step very strongly, maybe 2 or 3, 4 strides, good lengthy strides, and I sit here and go, "Good sir," as I cross between the guards, headed towards that direction,
Mhm.
and I'm asking them, "How much for the horses?"
And he mentions to you, there's like 10 silver for a horse to rent for a day, whatever. Says that if you need
Perfect.
a ride somewhere,
And I also ask him if is there any sort of drop points that I actually have to be worried about once I'm done with my horse, of course, once my fee is or my rent time is over.
and he says, no. He says that his horse is all of his horses are stamped or branded, and he says that there are some in and amongst the city. You can pretty much leave it anywhere, and people who recognize his horses left anywhere, we'll bring it back, and he offers a small reward for those people that bring his horses back. And so he says that he's not terribly concerned.
I do acquiesce. To rent your horse for more than a day, how would I be able to do that?
And he says,
Enable myself to do that.
well, you pay the fee up front, and just let me know how many days you'd like it for, and pay the fee up front, and you're all set.
How much for 1 gold piece or 2 gold pieces?
And he says, oh,
20 days.
he says, I give you 3 days for that.
Perfect.
A little
5
bit
gold
of a
pieces, please.
discount for.
I'll give him 5 gold pieces.
Okay.
Let me
And he
see.
bows in grand
You have
appreciation.
money? Sorry.
3. I don't have money actually. It all gets confiscated. It did get confiscated, correct?
Yeah. I was
Yep.
It
curious.
did.
I'm like, oh, did we keep our money?
Oh,
I
my
kept
God.
our money.
Okay, never mind.
Apparently,
Oh,
they
my
never asked
Only
for
if
it.
you gave it to him.
It was like,
I never gave it to anybody. I really didn't. I kept it in my
No, you
pocket.
didn't. You didn't hand your
I didn't.
bag of money over.
No.
No.
Is that all of
It was
us?
it was like your weaponry.
Yeah.
Yeah, all they confiscated from you guys was like weaponry, and then
Yeah.
like if you
I was like, I never gave over anything that was
if you
money
had a
wise.
sack of like if you had like a carrying satchel or something, they didn't ask for money pouches.
Yeah.
But if you had like your explorer's pack, they asked for those things.
so I wouldn't have that statue on me.
I kept my journal. I still have my blanket on me.
Which statue?
That platinum statue that I have.
No, it's in your bag.
Okay. Too convenient if I just had that.
Took my sticks. They took my sticks of incense. You
If they
evil!
were in your pack, yeah.
How dare they take my sticks?
Would
My
they have
candles.
taken my
Candles.
pile
Why
of
did I
poison
take
if they
the
didn't know what it
candles?
was?
I took my candles.
I'm just
Um,
curious.
Yeah, if it was in your pack.
I mean, I don't know. Oh, I gotta just
Yeah,
gotta
yeah,
be more
it's
clear
my
where I
bad.
put my stuff.
Totally took my. I mean, they took my shit. They took my stuff. Even took my matches.
Sorry if I didn't communicate that well enough last time.
Oh no,
but-
it's fine.
All right. Yeah, that's
Sounds
why I specifically I gave him my pack, which really didn't have anything in it, and then the bag of holding exploded. And then I took off all my rings, which I kind of wish I wouldn't have. But
Were those magical rings?
yes,
Oh wow. What did they do? I'm so
out,
curious
out
now.
of out of
Actually,
game, out of game.
I mean,
A ring of evasion and a ring of advanced dodge.
I never actually handed over
Interesting.
my rings.
Yep. I could have probably kept the quiver and gotten away with that, but yeah.
Still have my bag of seeds.
Yes.
From Lathander. They never asked for that, so I was like, that's awesome. Okay, so I hand off those 5 pieces of gold.
Okay. And he accepts them from you and then brings over this emaciated looking, like this horse that's basically skin and bones. There are like a few flies that are like flying around its head. It's just not a well-off looking horse.
Master Horseman.
Yes.
Do you perhaps have any feed?
Says, well, I did, and now I don't.
Say no more. And then I mount the horse and actually I don't of course. Kedron, myself, I would actually start to lead this horse kind of down the road. Actually, Jeez.
just run this horse to walk it down the road.
Right, kind of like urging it. Let's go get you something to eat.
Oh, wait.
is kind of what Kedron's
Sure.
doing at this moment. I do ask, where might I find the nearest stable?
And he mentions to you that actually towards the outer wall, if you go west, there is a set of stables out that way.
Thank you so much, kind Lord. And then I start leading the horse away.
Okay.
I'm headed towards where, if I may, a knowledge check, or any type of intelligence check, where I might think that they or my party might actually must be.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Go intelligence.
Skodrick, were you going to say something a minute ago?
Oh, cripes.
It wasn't important. I was just gonna tell him something.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So the thing that you think of, Kidron, is that it is likely that your party would have gone back to the place where you guys met the High Lady the first time upon entering into the city. Kidron, do you hear me?
I'm sorry, say again.
Oh, so what you think of is that your party may likely have gone to the place where you guys had met the High Lady the first time you entered into the city.
Okay. And I start heading that way.
Okay.
Very slowly, of course.
So Atlas, after a time, Ulfni essentially has finished explaining to you his ideas, his what he wants to accomplish, what he wants to do, and he mentions to you, that to rebuild his device would take years and possibly even decades to do it complete. And he mentions to you that there's an easier way to do it. And that's some of the stuff that I'm going to send to you. He says, in the meantime, to help protect you, he wants to help get you outfitted a bit.
Okay.
And he is explaining this to his parents or to your parents rather. And they do appear quite worried. But he says that, he's just been reassuring him throughout the time of telling them what he wants to do, etc. And he's just kind of reassuring them and reminding them that the way that he built you was to be in servitude of this particular person who was to purchase you, except that he's added some defensive capacities to you, to your body, so as to aid you should that particular person come under siege. Now, given the circumstances, given what has happened or whatever, the tools that he's implemented can be utilized by you or enhanced by him for you in order to better aid you to accomplish this goal that he wants to accomplish. So, and some of this is going to you'll have a little bit of a better understanding when I send you this information about what he's planning to do.
Excellent.
So, and then what he mentions is it would be wise to he says the less people that know about what he's wanting to do, the better. and he says to you, whether or not you want to tell the party that you're traveling with is up to you, though he would recommend not telling them, because it is likely to put them in danger. He
If
says,
they
do what?
if they know, it's likely to
Right.
put them in danger.
Right. It
Okay,
could
that's
potentially. And then he says, however, it seems that their goals would be in alignment with, or in congruence with, where these events are to take place. And so that he's going to stick close by because he needs to be present for this event, and in order to ensure that things go the way that they're supposed to go. He just mentions to you that he needs to go back again to his other shop to retrieve a couple of items. And he mentions to you a couple of the items that he needs to retrieve.
Okay. Do you need me to go with you?
And he says no. He says travel back to his other shop is going to take some time. He says getting back from his other shop will not take very much time.
Okay. Fair, that's good. So I guess if we ever need to get in contact with you, then we can use the I suppose Scotric's ability to send a message to you. Sure, you've answered before, so hopefully we'll get a message back.
I have to have met him.
What's that?
That was a spectral voice.
I have to have met him.
Oh.
Off?
Oh, it's Offney? It is Offney?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I thought
Yeah,
it was.
it's
My
Offney.
bad.
I thought you were
Yeah.
saying don't do the meta. And I'm like, I knew about that ability.
Copy. All rights copyrighted, but Sephiroth. Okay, I'm
So
done.
it's not quite
Sorry.
that long.
So I assume you've got more to send me, right? In
Yes.
the chat or whatever. Okay, cool.
Yes. Yeah.
So I will explain to Olfney something that, well, you probably didn't know this before, but so I had a mentor that trained me to use my fists in fighting. It's a fighting style known as boxing. You've probably heard of it before. Pit fighting, whatever you want to call it.
And his parents both look at you.
Yeah, and
like-
I'm openly admitting it. And
No. You're grounded, sir.
You do what?
Carry on.
Next time you're not a
so
virgin.
as I'm saying this, I'm like, because I know that I'm admitting it to him, I'm like, looking over at them like while I'm saying it and like watching their faces, but keep looking back at Olfney and saying what I'm saying.
Right.
So I'm
Okay.
like, this is what I'm good at doing. And I'm gonna be like, yeah, the truth is I've been kind of going behind y'all's backs for a little while. Because I've been getting beat up at school and stuff.
Your father just
So-
crosses his arms and leans back in his chair slowly, glaring at
And they're
you.
like, I'm sorry to be such a disappointment, but something
Your-
had to be done because,
Your
I
mom
was
is
getting
just,
beat up at
sitting there.
school. I mean, I may as well get it out now. You just recognize that your son is in a robotic body. So there's nothing, more crazy that we could hear today. Oh, by the way, so the girl that you met, like a couple months back or whatever.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that's my girlfriend too.
And she's like,
Can we have sex? She showed me her boobies and I like it.
And I like it
Yo, her name is Vicky, and she showed me her boobies, and I like them too.
Water boy and all copyright
No,
reserved, not reserved. I'm sorry, and not
yeah,
natural.
I'll look at them and I'll just say, you remember Belena? You remember her? That's yeah. So also that. But anyway, Ulfney. So let's talk about this.
And your dad's like, no, wait a minute.
Yes,
What
father.
about water boy?
I was like, are you banging her, son? He's like,
Are you
Yeah.
using the lambskin or the sheepskin? Are you using the?
Is he actually asking me this?
No.
oh, and then give you a wink.
So
Like, good job, son. Like,
he's sitting there and he says, "Now I just didn't anticipate. I mean, I figured she was a friend, but I mean, not that it's a problem. I just didn't know that you would be in that way."
Into her.
you thought he was gay?
I was gonna say, what, Dad? Dad, did you think? I'm not really offended. I mean, I know that sometimes I don't know.
He says, "No, I
Dad.
imagine He says,
Drink that spring water, the mineral water.
Never
and
understood
then
the
your mother
reference.
says, "Well, the horns
Never-
are a little off-putting."
The what's a little off-putting? I'm sorry, Mother.
She says,
Oh,
"The
the
horns."
oh, I see. Okay. I mean,
And your
it
dad
makes
was
sense.
like, "Yes, I don't, and I didn't think that." And they look at each other for a moment, and they're like,
Well, come on,
Well,
it's not like
imagine
it's
that.
not like she has a tail.
And he's like, "Well,
Well,
And
not a
then-
tail that we know of, at least. She could. I know for a fact.
awesome.
This is something I do know. She doesn't have wings. Okay.
This is
She doesn't have
great.
claws. She's got very small fangs. But
Oh, it's-
I think that you guys could come to be okay with it. She's
and he
nice.
says, "Well, son, I imagine if that's what you want, I guess we could come to be fine with it, right, dear?" And they kind of nod together in agreement, and they're like, "Well, we just guess wished we had known sooner."
I mean, it's not like she's pregnant and like 8 months pregnant or something, and we're about to have a baby.
Are you about to have a baby?
But no, I'm not. I'm just
Oh,
saying,
yeah.
not at all. Nothing like that. I promise. I haven't even kissed this girl.
Oh.
But we're together though. I mean, I haven't talked to her in a while, so anything could have happened. Matter of fact, I'm kind of concerned for her because I haven't talked to her in a while.
And your
what?
your dad looks and he's like, "Does she know about this circumstance?"
Not yet. Not yet.
Battle cry or die.
Um,
Come back to life.
And just then, as you're saying this, you hear a rustling and a small crash outside one of the back windows of the
Jesus
house.
Christ.
And that is where we
Yeah.
will end our session.
Quick
That's
note,
so cool.
Did Quint just hit a wall?
Right.
oh God, there's
I
no
get the
way
feeling it's my tiefling girlfriend breaking into the house or something.
eavesdropping.
Go ahead, Roland.
I was gonna say, okay, do we establish that Skadrick, in fact, did have his gold on him?
Yes.
Okay, I would imagine he would have given me gold
Yeah, I
for the
would've.
shield, correct?
Yeah,
Which-
I would have.
Yes,
In which
he would
case,
have.
I would have bought it and I would have given it to him now.
Got you. Okay,
Okay,
Oh,
so you
jeez.
would have bought the shield.
yeah.
How much gold would you have given Skadrick?
How many did you have?
You cheap person,
You
you.
must know. I have 799. I probably would have given him as much as I think it would have cost, if not a little more to be safe.
If you
To,
knew
like,
what the
Okay,
cost
make an intelligence check real quick.
Oh, of
Yeah,
all people.
was.
Well, I mean,
like, do you know
Ricard
what
was
the
there.
cost is?
Ricard was there.
Whose cost you going
He's in
off
the
of?
room.
Your own knowledge or his?
Ricard, you're muted.
Or
by the
his
way.
knowledge?
So you can make it. I guess they
Yeah.
would have assisted you, so you can
Could-
make that with
Yeah,
it.
Oh, crap.
I was gonna say,
Master-
can I
Master
make a
Ricard.
roll to tell him how much the bare minimum to have for a Sentinel shield was?
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, technically, otherwise we could have just gone back to the shop and at this point. If we were in,
No, we have spent way
transit?
too long.
Okay, well, I didn't know if it was
This is
on
to
the
see if
way
we can
back.
take care of it like before that.
This is 2 times that
Scott,
you rolled in
you're
that one for that Sentinel.
Yeah,
shield.
I'll just roll. I'll
Right,
just
yeah,
roll. I'll roll
Squadrick, your head
because I was
backwards.
in the room as well.
Okay.
So is it
You're
history or
over backwards.
intelligence? Or are we just doing either or?
So for you, it'd be a history check. For sure.
History. Okay.
Oh, that's great.
12. It's better than
You
Scottish.
good?
So
you good, man? You good?
So among the three of you, you guys would have figured out the general cost.
how many idiots does it take to figure out how much the shield costs?
Go change your
Um,
light bulb.
It's like,
So like maybe give him like 600 gold,
Right.
or you know, or
I'm
45.
thinking at least 1,000. I'm thinking you had to give me 1,000.
here's my
Thousand gold,
fucking,
1,000
here's,
gold.
here's my bag.
Oh, thanks. I'll just take that. Yeah.
Yeah, just
I trust you, Roland.
I look at Skodrick like, you trust him with all your gold? Okay.
I mean,
no. No.
Jack secretly holds off like 100.
Awesome. So thank you guys, everybody who popped in tonight to watch our stream. We apologize very much so for all the issues that we had, the technical difficulties. For those of you who did
Here with Battle Cry.
decided to
or
jump
die.
in. I hope you guys have enjoyed what session we have had and were finally successful in. So join us again next week at 9 o'clock Friday. Are we going to claim that as our official time, I guess? 9 o'clock, 9 p.m.?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Or do we
Yeah,
want
I'm
to do
fine
like 8:30?
Like,
We
I
can
can
shoot
agree.
for 8:30,
Yeah.
but I feel
For
like
just next week or
with
forever.
our
So,
luck,
honestly,
We'll do next week. We'll just
As,
do it for next week.
That'd be
8:30 is
personally,
fine.
it's I put my kids to bed at 8:30.
Yeah, I was gonna say
So-
we can just try and be on chatting by 8 and just go live like we had talked about, and then if we get to
Yeah,
play
let's start working through the,
8:30, then we'll start at 8:30 and whatever.
I'm okay with it.
That's cool.
Oh, that's
And
that's
I'll
my
make
8:30.
sure
So my kids to
that-
bed.
the audio's on.
Yeah, I'll make sure the audio is on.
Yeah.
9 o'clock.
It was on. It was just
Yeah. It was just
Hey guys, I
Um,
got gas and my
and
dinner
the funny
was
part
good.
is I
and-
even talked about
You
Yeah.
did.
He
yeah,
did.
I even talked about it.
Yeah.
The funnier part is that this
I
literally
always-
happened
yeah.
like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So
All right. This-
funny.
All right, I'll get you all. We'll catch you on next time. Maybe throughout the week we're streaming other stuff.
we
Yeah,
got the
I'm sure
Dark
with that.
Lord.
Alright,
The beacon who cast the
Goodbye.
gloom,
Like,
the
subscribe,
gloom
and
into
share.
our days to our
Yeah.
holy name. Please, yes, subscribe. and
Definitely.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Love you.